that?
Because here we are to talk about. I'm late because
And
this.
go live in the middle of a drink. I can't even say hello to the 0 people who are watching.
They will be though.
They always do.
So, Last of Us happened. We had some have been calling it the Game of Thrones moment. Some some people have been calling it part of Pedro's contract.
That's what I thought. Game of Thrones moment.
And I told you, okay, I'm going to jump right to the end because I said the show had to do something to fix this particular scene. And Neil Druckmann, you're a lying piece of shit because he did exactly what I said they should have done to make this scene make sense to why we get in the predicament that we get into. Because I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison from the game to the show where they
Excellent,
took the 2
because I'm curious.
And the way this death played out was so much fucking better. So much better.
What death?
Of course, we're talking about the death
of Ned Stark?
Of the Ned Stark of Last of Us. They had their red wedding. It was funny listening to
you gotta understand how people are getting freaking Game of Thrones from this. Like, seems pretty obvious to me.
Yeah. So, this death, though, did not play out. Now, I've seen a lot of other YouTubers. They said the ratings are tanking after it was just announced that episode 1 was the fucking highest that HBO has ever had. They didn't just say they said this was higher than Game of Thrones at its peak. This premiere.
That doesn't surprise me. There's more people.
So yeah. So all the fucking idiots out on the internet saying, "Oh, it's gonna tank. Wait until episode 3. There's gonna be a drop." Shut the fuck up. I've gone through and
you gotta figure when Game of Thrones was at its peak, there was no. Let's go back in time a little bit. HBO Max. You just watched Game of Thrones on HBO at 8 p.m. on Sunday night. Now you watch The Last of Us at 8 p.m. on Sunday night, plus all of the people that watch it streaming at the same time because it releases on both platforms at the same time.
Plus, you're getting the viewership numbers from people who come home on Sunday and maybe go, "Oh, I'm going to fucking leave my host hanging and fucking watch it on Tuesday when we were going to do the fucking review." I'm talking me, of course, folks. This motherfucker literally doesn't watch the episode until we do the review. And you know what? I'm glad you did because now I've watched the episode 3 times, whereas you have
so
just
good.
absorbed
so
it.
Good.
So
it's one of the best episodes of television I ever watched.
I'm gonna say this. This is probably not only the best episode between seasons 1 and 2 of The Last of Us. I'm just gonna go out on a limb because, like I said, I know where the story ends. But for now, this was probably one of the best episodes we're ever gonna get of the show, and it's probably one of the best episodes, and I know I said this for a lot of TV shows, but folks, we have good fucking TV this year. This is probably one of the best episodes of anything we've seen so far, because while Daredevil Born Again was good, this was on, like, pure acting and writing. Now, I want to get some things out of the way, because I want to dispel some bullshit I've been hearing. First off, I wanted to start off, and I wanted to do my review yesterday after I read this, but Grace Randolph is no longer covering this show. Do you want to know why? If you had to pick the reasons, why would you think she would stop covering the show? And she's played the game live on her channel. What is the dumbest thing you could think of that she says after this episode?
The dumbest thing that she would say after this episode was, it's a zombie TV show, so I assume you say something along the lines of, "That was unrealistic."
Oh, no, oh, man.
My close?
You gave her too much credit.
Oh,
she said they character assassinated Abby and that they made her cruel. Now I'm gonna play the side by side later on. I'm not gonna do it now because you fuckers gotta watch this stream if you want the good stuff. But I will later on play you a clip of both of them. And she claims,
somebody's gonna put the timestamp for when we play the clip anyway, so they'll jump to that.
yeah, she said that game version Abby was not as cruel and sadistic. Now, I'll mind you, the introduction of Abby in the game was that scene you saw with the fence and everything. Now, keep in mind, us naive game people, we had no clue what was going to happen, unlike you motherfuckers. You guys were prepped for 5 years, okay? We just see this character, we say, and we thinking it's kind of weird. There's no hint, no drop. They don't even introduce this character until that moment. So you're thinking this is like a side quest. You're just saving this character. She's like, oh shit, this is all going down. Joel's like, we can't get out of here. Pretty much same, except for Dina isn't there. It's Tommy. I'll get back to that. And so they swapped them in the show, but in the game it was Tommy. And so you go out, and then Tommy, like a fucking idiot, to kick off this death scene, goes, thank you so much for saving us. My name is Tommy. I run the blah, blah, blah settlement, and this is my brother Joel. And then everything happens. Oh, and Tommy is fucking useless in the game because he gets one good shot in, and then they beat the ever-loving shit out of him, and he passes out. And then the shotgun to the knee, and then the infamous golf scene. And then the fucking roided up Abby beats the ever-loving shit out of you and ends you with a golf club, splitting his head in half, while Ellie does the same thing in the show, but she's being held down, and instead of Ellie being kicked in the stomach and her crawling over, in the game she just gets a boot to the face and it cuts to black. So you see what I'm saying? Like, even the shit they added made it to, I said, if they wanted to save this season for me, and I posted this on Twitter too, and I got a lot of fucking negative feedback, but fuck
no
you.
way. Negative feedback on Twitter?
On Twitter? I know, it's crazy.
Wow.
And I said, don't follow the fucking source material. Deviate as far from that motherfucker as you can. Because if you use the fucking Neil Druckmann shitty fucking writing, and don't get me wrong, some of it is...
Are you going to tell me what the difference is here?
So the difference here is that their setup, she finds out Joel's name organically. It made more sense that with the swap with Dina, that would make sense for her to be like, hey, Joel, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, what's going on? And I like they threw in that bit of who the fuck are you? Like, it made more sense for the character to be put in the situation they're put in. Whereas in the game, you just play a fucking scene, you end up there, she beats the fuck out of Joel, and then you have to play fucking 4 hours of Abby. It is the worst gaming experience I've ever had in my life. And I've played the fucking thing like twice to see if like maybe it's just me. Now I know that's what's going to happen. It doesn't fucking make it better. It doesn't. It doesn't. So anyways, I'm sorry. I had to go on that big long rant because Grace Randolph saying, oh, they character assassinated Abby. No, they gave Abby a fucking character. I still think she's a cunt, but at least I understand why she killed the fucking character that I fell in love with in the first game that I assumed because of the marketing we were going to have the same dynamic. And nope. You get 2 hours. You don't even see Joel. You're fighting with Joel. You don't even get any fucking interaction with Joel in the game. You're fighting with him. Then you go off on a bullshit mission. Then you get switched to Joe's POV. You get fucking murdered as you switch back to Ellie and have to watch him being murdered. And then after that, they don't give you any fucking resolution. It's just she passes out and you switch to Abby's POV. What the fuck? So you fuckers who watch this episode, you should all be giving it a 10 because you did not go through a fifth of the bullshit we gamers had to deal with. You got to get your little mourning. You get a little funeral episode. We didn't get that shit in the game. There's no fucking funeral for Joel. You just move it along, and then you get fucking memory flashbacks. That's all we got in the fucking game. You guys are getting episode 3 where everyone will probably mourn for him. You get a little funeral and a good send off. We didn't get none of that. Nothing.
Guy, it's a video game.
But you see what I'm saying? Where I
don't see what you're saying at all. You make it seem like I knew who Abby was going into this episode.
No,
all I knew was she was a woman with a grimace on a hill. That's all I knew about her before this episode.
Oh, you were falling asleep, but they said she was part of the Fireflies there. What I'm saying is they actually set up.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
No, what I'm saying is they set up.
Okay, here's my question. So when we're watching this whole fucking scene where he's standing there with his hands up the whole fucking time, they do the flashback to him killing the doctor. Did that happen in season 1?
Yeah.
When?
That was at the end when he went on that rampage and killed everybody. And the doctor grabs Elliot, says, "We're doing this, blah, blah, blah." And he just, boom, shoots him right in the head. And then picks her up and walks out of the room. And then
I don't remember that at all.
Bitch.
It's been too long since season 1. I don't remember any of that shit. I was like, fuck, am I supposed to know that?
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I remember all that. Plus, I've played The Last of Us.
Okay, so when you're playing the video game, it's like it fades in from black and you're under a fence crawling.
No, you go way back. Like, you play Abby when she finds her father dead, like, after that. And they don't even tell you that. They don't reveal who she is till the very end of the game. You just have these weird dream sequences, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you'll be snapped back, and then you go through and you get to pet dogs and meet her crew, and you go out on missions, and then it's like certain plots will intersect. So then you'll play Abby for a while until you get to where Ellie is, and then they'll flash back, and then you play Ellie going all the way up to where they intersect, and then you play the intersect, and then they diverge, and then you play one character again and the other character here, and you do this for fucking 16 hours. That's if you just fucking beeline it through the story. If you're fucking retarded like everybody who liked the game, you can spend like 32 trying to find all the secrets and upgrade all your stuff and all that. But yeah, so all they did was just simplify shit for you guys, because that scene that you were at, we're like about 2 hours into the game, and I could tell you right now, I saw the sneak peek of episode 3. There was definitely, that is a whole new fucking thing, because there was no funeral for Joel, and the town doesn't get attacked until near the end of the game. So they put the attack on the town and Joel's death in the same fucking episode, which once again I thought was a great thing to do, because
okay, well, I'm pretty sure if they turn Game of Thrones into a video game, there ain't gonna be no frickin' funeral for Ned Stark either. Like, there's no time for funerals in video games, guy. Like, what are you expecting?
No, I'm saying, though, the writing for the first game is really strong, given the limited things they do with storytelling. The second game, the writing is all over the fucking place. Instead of keeping it concise and just putting in those little moments that would have made sense, they do really terrible. It's just bad storytelling is what I'm saying. A lot of the scenes don't make sense. The ending fucking falls apart. The ending is one of the fucking biggest waste of time.
So you play as Abby for 2 hours, essentially wandering around in the wilderness, and then you're getting royally fucked up, and you get saved by Joel in the game?
No, you go further back than that. You play.
I didn't ask about going further back.
No, I'm saying when you go into the flashback, you don't even play that.
I don't care about the flashback, guy. When you're playing as her,
yeah, you're not in
that. I fucking know. I know. You said you played for 2 fucking hours before that. So I said you play for 2 hours and then you play out that scene the exact same fucking way, right?
No, it doesn't go up to that.
What do you mean it doesn't go up to it?
It just flashbacks you back into Ellie. That part doesn't intersect. There's only certain parts of the game where the story intersects like that.
So when you're playing the game, there is no scene of her crawling under the fence?
No, there is a scene of her doing that.
Fucking A, man.
I'm saying you don't play it.
Okay, it's a fucking cutscene. Whatever. Jesus fucking Christ. I've never seen somebody get caught up on semantics when we're trying to review a TV show and you're talking about a fucking video game. Jesus Christ. So, that happens the exact same way?
Oh, that
Other
was
than
done
the
good.
brother?
Oh yeah, that was I'm gonna say that was pretty much shot for shot, very well done. I would actually say that scene is better than the game with some of the details they have. But yeah, that scene's literally ripped out of the cutscene. And also the
Okay,
part where he
which is
shoots the thing in
exactly
the head.
what a TV show should be built on when you're creating it off of a video game. All of your dialogue and happening scenes are the cutscenes because you're not in control, because it's like, here's the story. It's very rare that you have a video game out there that you control the story with the actions that you've chosen. That's rare. Very rare. What's up, Kiefer?
Hey, what's up, Kiefer? Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's not my.
Kiefer, did you watch the episode?
Um,
Okay, you can go on now. He'll answer.
That's not my issue. My issue is that doesn't change the fact that the story in the first game is better than the story in the second game. That
Okay, well,
I
right now
understand.
the story in season 1 is better than the story in season 2. I agree.
I'm talking about even comparatively game wise. But I'm saying but the thing about the truth is that this season though.
Question. Season 1, I enjoyed it. Oh man.
Good.
Did you play both games?
Me?
No, him. Obviously, I know that you played both games. This entire review, plus the previous Last of Us review, was essentially just a platform for you to go back in time and bitch about the fucking game again. Like, God damn it.
I don't think you understand how disappointed I was.
Kiefer gave up on the second game. I wonder why.
So, with that being said, I will say this. This season to me is better because it's fixing the problems I had in the video game, was my whole point of that, right? Like, yes, I know I've done a lot of bitching, but let's keep it to the show. I have been a strong.
Once again, I gotta recap because you overloaded me with your ridiculousness. So, what changed in the show compared to the movie as far as what the characters are doing, not what you're playing, but what happens in the story? What changed?
So the biggest change, the most important part for setting up for Joel's death was that Dina being there instead of Tommy fixes a lot of issues. One,
How?
Because she doesn't, they don't obtain Joel's name through Tommy just blabbing it out in the cutscene. Instead, she hears it by happenstance. You know, she overhears it when Dina says, "Hey, Joel," and it's natural. It's like, "Hey, we gotta get the fuck out of here."
So my question, I get it now. My question is, in the video game, could they have literally had the exact same dialogue, minus the names, obviously, and still had the same thing occur? Because I understand that it's like, "Hey, Joel, we need to go," and she's like, "Huh?"
Yeah, see, that is my frustration. I'm sorry. You see, this is why we get along so well. You get me. That's what I was trying to spit out. Yes, it's little changes like that could have been done in the game. Is what it could have been phrased, even if we're going cutscene the same exact way, and it changes like you said.
They probably got some actual professionals for the
Thank you. That was my point, is that you have Craig Mazin, who did Chernobyl, which is an excellent fucking show. You could tell where he looked at a scene and he was like, "Look, Neil, this doesn't fucking make any sense, man. We don't gotta do much. We don't gotta change your creative vision, but just do this and this." Do you see how you fix so much issues with a scene just by the way the dialogue is worded? And you've said this too. The words and the context matter.
It
Because
does.
You go from Tommy looking like a fucking idiot and
That's what
blurting
I was
out.
just gonna say. Because okay, so from watching season 1 going into season 2, the thing that my biggest problem with the episode, biggest fucking problem, which is tiny, is the fact that Joel decides, oh, yeah, I don't know you at all, but you say you know people, so let's go there.
And here's where I would say
He's a
this
survivalist. I feel like the survivalist is like,
this is where I
you
would
want to take
say,
me into your crew of people? How about you bring them to me? I'll wait here. You take the horse, and we'll meet up at this point.
and this is where I say it's a minor fix. You still have the issue, but in the game, it's blatant character assassination. And this is just
Of
tinfoil
Joel?
hat. Yes, I think they wanted you to think he was stupid and hate him so that when he died, people would be less inclined to stop playing the fucking game than if they just like had him be himself and you killed him. People would still be angry, but it backfired because people still got angry because, like you said, trust me, PB, and I'm going to show you a side by side clip. In the game, it's a lot fucking stupider, and it will have you pulling your hair out because it, like you said, it doesn't make sense to his character. And I noticed that, but I said, you know what? I know the other version. This is like writing gold compared to how they set it up in the game versus how they set it up in the television show, because I could just look at it like, yes, you have a
Okay,
point, but
so
he saw his people burning and he said, "Oh fuck, if these people have guns, he's thinking about saving
no,
the
I get that
community."
the
So I
pressure
can,
is up. So does
yeah.
that scene play out in the same way in the game?
No, not at
Or
all,
they
because
just the three of them
just
essentially
ride
ride 2 horses to a hill and is like, oh shit, the town is on fire. And then Abby goes, I know some people with guns. We can fight. And Joel was like, wow,
Nope,
what
not at
great
all.
idea.
In the game, there's not even an attack on the place until later. What happens is you're caught in a snowstorm and he can't get back or communicate, and then they bump into Abby when they save her, and they
Yeah,
say
that's
we've
what
got to
happened
get
in
out
the
of.
show.
Yeah, and he says we have to get out of the cold, and she goes, "Oh, I have a cabin up here." She still doesn't know who he is. When they enter the cabin, that's when they go, "Hey, I'm so and so, I'm so and so," and then they introduce themselves, and then his fucking brother, like an idiot, says their names, and then they're trapped in there. That's how it goes down. Yeah, there's not even a zombie attack or nothing. It's just a snowstorm. He just trusts a random stranger. They just get escorted to the cabin to wait it out until the morning so they can ride back into town. And that's when he gets, yeah, that's how that goes down. How fucking stupid is that? Do you know how
If you're
infuriating
gonna
that would?
rob us, just rob us.
And like you said, I had the same thinking. Joel would never fucking do that. Like, even if there's a brutal storm, he'd be like, okay, who are these people? Blah blah blah. He'd say, Tommy, make sure we got our guns, and he damn sure wouldn't say his name because he knows he's done a lot of shit, and there are people out there who would want to kill him. But the game would have you think, no. And Neil Druckmann, in his original interviews, came out and said, well, Joel has been relaxed since being in the town, so he let his guard down, which is what led to his. Yeah, it was Game of Thrones level
Did he
stupid.
let his guard down? Because he seemed like the person in town that was like, we gotta be ready. We gotta be ready. We can't.
Do you see why I'm
We can't
upset?
just be letting random people into town. We can't have any illegal immigrants in town. Like we gotta be skeptical of every single person that comes through the gate because we don't know what their deal is.
That,
All of
it's
this was
just,
said this season, essentially. Paraphrasing.
so do you see why I'm saying the writing is better? Because I said the show is better because it is
Well, it's not fair
retroactively.
when episode 1 sucks so much. Obviously, this one's gonna look better, but it was better.
So let's get to the one added scene that I wanted to talk about before we get to the. We're gonna make you wait for our thoughts on the big death, but uh, the attack. I gotta say, this is what I thought we were gonna get. And I heard this comparison a lot, but I fucking agree with it. In Game of Thrones, when the Night King, remember, this is what that should have been.
I don't want to talk about the Dark Knight.
This felt like HBO's apology for that episode, because holy fucking shit.
There's not enough of them. Like, if people want to say that this is what it was supposed to be like in Game of Thrones, I mean, maybe from the close shots, but there's nowhere near enough zombies as there's supposed to be in the Night King's army just coming down these two little corridors. I mean, what is there? There's like, I'm going to even crank it up a little bit. Let's say there was 5,000 zombies, right? That's a lot of fucking zombies, right? The Night King's supposed to have like
triple that. Yeah.
No, not triple. Like hundreds of times more. He's supposed to have hundreds of thousands. He's been murdering people all the way from north of the wall. Then they go south of the wall and they continue to murder people, add them to his army. But we can't see anything because it's fucking dark. So
I just had to get.
They're like, you know what? It might be a snowstorm, but we're gonna make sure that you can still see the fucking zombie.
And I was like, I go, HBO, you learned your fucking lesson. You didn't send out things going, turn up your contrast. I was
fucking
dude,
ridiculous.
remember how pissed we were?
Only time in human fucking history where they're like, you know, if you adjust your television, because this isn't the Twilight Zone.
So yeah,
like that's the only other place that your television adjustment for your settings has ever been referenced, and they specifically tell you not to adjust your TV. And HBO's like, oh well, your contrast isn't high enough.
There were motherfuckers watching it in 4K. Remember, who was that we used to stream with all the time? He had to literally clean it up. They were showing us the cleaned up version. He had to literally
talking about Mike?
Clean it up. Yes. And he did all of this shit just to see the battle. He goes, oh yeah, 10
what
out
did
of 10. I go, yeah,
what did he change his channel name to the last time that I looked at it? Crack Skull Media, right?
Yeah, Crack Skull Media.
What was it before that when we streamed together? I can't even remember. Something God. Geek.
Oh, Geekicidal. Tennessees.
Yeah. No, that's somebody in the chat guy. That was not his channel name.
God, what was it?
Wow. I have to go back and watch an old stream.
But yeah,
I feel terrible.
He and everybody else was dealing with cope, but okay, back to this episode. So this is how you show a winter fucking siege where you can fucking see everything, because when you can see shit, it looks cool. I love the barrels. I love the fact that they knew the wood was not going to fucking hold, and they tried to put the trucks in front, and that fucking bloater said, nah, fucking crash through that shit like the Kool-Aid man. Dude, I loved everything about this fucking siege. This is like, remember how I kept on saying they needed to add shit? This makes the episode enjoyable before you get hit with that sinking feeling that you're left with until this coming Sunday. But yeah, like I love the shit with the bloater. I loved them being attacked, and they had the snipers on the roof, and then the other snipers had to shoot over because they started getting fucking overrun.
I was pretty disappointed with that when they're like, okay, here's the strategy. We're gonna put all of the people that aren't going to shoot a gun in the basement. Double barricade, solid steel doors. And I was like, okay, that's good. And then we're going to put the other people, everybody that does have guns, on the roof or at the front wall, and we're going to shoot like a motherfucker. And I was like, all right. And then they bust into the building, and they're banging on the fucking door to get into the basement, because obviously the zombies know what fucking doors are. So they're going to go through the door. It's like, I don't know what the building is made out of, but I have a feeling that there are a lot of interior walls in buildings that zombies decide not to go through that you could go through. I mean, you've seen how they pressed up against their freaking timber fucking fence? Like, oh, they're just fucking smashing bodies into the fucking wall. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, so they don't get into the basement. But it seemed like they didn't even have the fucking door for the roof locked. Like, you just turn around, it's like, oh, they're just running through. It's like, wait, you didn't, like, you don't get to see them come through the door at all because the door is facing away from the camera and they're just rounding the corner like crazy. And I was like, holy shit, wild pitch, let's steal second.
What
was
did
ridiculous.
You think? Also, too, they also saved Tommy's character for me because in the game, I thought after the scene, I hated Tommy for the rest of the game. This actually made me love Gabriel Luna more.
I'm not done with this fucking roof. Like,
oh my god, I knew there's always one thing that gets you.
We could all see how the roof is designed. Pretty much every door to get to the roof essentially has a little pop-up, right? And you got essentially a little building on top of the building.
Yeah,
and
which
all
is
there
is,
design. I see. All right, now, hold on. Typically, the door at the top of the building usually swings out. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So it's relatively easy to break down because you're not pushing against the frame. You're just pushing against the latch because you're trying to keep people from the outside from getting in. Right.
Yeah.
So I get that. That's how the door is designed. What you need to do is you got your 2 steel barricades to get into the basement. We all saw that because I saw him put the one down and I was like, oh, then he put another one down. I was like, all right, we're fucking prepared. Excellent.
Yep.
At the top, I would have built welded, essentially a cage around that top part so that you could put a triple barricade in the front of it on your steel cage so that the door is right up against that.
No, I 100% agree.
I'm super disappointed with the lack of preparation for the roof. I just don't it seemed they're like, well, if we prepare the roof, then we won't be able to kill off all these people when the fucking zombies invade. It's disappointing. That's not how it would work. Not when you put in that much work to make the basement safe. And if that was the case, if you only have enough time, maybe do the roof first, because then you can bring everybody up on the roof and you'd be like, yeah, it's dangerous up here, little boy, but here's a gun. I know that you're 7. We need all the fighters we can get. We're totally invaded. They've breached the wall, the big, beautiful wall, and they just knocked it down.
Speaking of which, what did you think of the boss battle? This was another little nod to the video game.
That happened in the game?
When you
play as Tommy?
Well, you're not Tommy, but it's the same kind of thing that they did in the show, where you got one weapon and you're facing the big ass boss, and you fucking unload all your ammo, and you're like, oh my god, I'm fucked.
So before you face this big ass boss, were there 2 pussies in the game that ran away?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Where'd they go?
Love that. Dude, that was probably one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
It was so realistic. I love that they just looked at they're like, Tommy, man, you got this.
Okay, so
dude, ass. I didn't even see him for the rest of the episode.
I have a problem with this scene as well because they Chekhov'd guns us. Chekhov'd gun us?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how to say that. But they put Chekhov's gun on the fucking table, and then it just stayed on the table. And I was like, oh, okay. So the 2 guys run away, right? They take off. And then, we're torching. And the other guy starts getting murdered. And so now Tommy's torching all by himself. And I was like, well, I kind of figured the other 3 people would die, but didn't think that 2 of them would run away. I did not expect that. It made me laugh a little bit. But when the one guy gets knocked over, his flame is still shooting off to the side against what looks like, to me, an ammo box or something like that is designed to explode. And then you see Tommy look at the guy dying at the ammo box. And then he looks at the big son of a bitch who's about to go after his fucking girlfriend, or are they married wife? It doesn't
Wife,
fucking matter.
wife,
Go
yeah.
after his fucking wife. And he's like, oh, I have a fucking idea. And 100% everybody watching this goddamn show who never played the game, because you probably already knew, you're just watching the show, you're like, oh, he's going to lure that big son of a bitch right to this fucking spot, and then he's going to blow everything to kingdom fucking come. And then he ran into a corner. Like,
Okay,
he
so
forgot how the town was laid out, and he was like, oh, shit, I guess this is the
so
back of the alley. What the
I have
fuck
a
was
defense for this. It's not a good one, but I will defend this episode because I'm so happy that they
that?
fucking
It's not a
changed
good
everything.
one.
But my thought for that was, being a game fan, in the town meeting, they said they wanted to keep the building destruction and everything to a minimum. Now, he could have did that plan, and they even showed the scene of him looking that way to the ammo box. But if he blew that up, remember, in that shop, in the basement, there's more kids and shit hiding there. So say he blows that up, and, you know, they could be safe, but he could take out the whole fucking structure, or he could cause cave-in, and everybody in that basement dies.
Well, I
So
was
I
going to
can
say, well,
see
I mean, it could also go the other way, where, like, this giant fucking thing turns everybody in the town into mushrooms.
or he blows it up, and the thing doesn't die and heads for the basement, and then what the fuck is he gonna do?
Okay,
You know what
so
I mean?
since we're scattershotting this entire review, what's going on with the fungus in the pipe? Because why did they decide to crack the pipe open? I don't understand.
Okay,
What was the point of this?
so remember, well, you probably don't because episode 1 fucking sucked, but at the end of the episode,
What's up, Hunter?
hey, Hunter, how you doing? Ben Affleck's saying he hate wearing the tight for Batman suit. Yeah, I would hate it too.
Guess what? I don't necessarily care what he thought about doing something in the past, because obviously it fucking paid well enough. He did it more than once.
Not only that, but he's coming out with my favorite movie, the sequel to my favorite movie, The Accountant, and he plays a better autistic.
I like to call that working man's Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, working man's Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
But welcome, Hunter. I haven't seen you in a dog's age.
Okay, why'd they crack that pipe open? What was the
So
point
they
of cracking
cracked
that
the
pipe
pipe
open?
because at the end, the dude saw the stuff that was the vines that were in the thing, so he was trying to see how far the roots had gone, because remember, those thingies tell the cordyceps monsters where to go.
I know, but he cracked the pipe and then was like, oh, I can't, this just looks like it's some shrubbery in the pipe. Or else why, like, as soon as you cracked it, you'd be like, oh, fuck. But he was like, oh, shit, I guess I told everybody where we were. And
like
by
I
everybody,
said,
it wasn't everybody, because half of them aren't like, I don't entirely understand, because I thought it was like a totally interconnected Borg-like network, and it's obviously not, because there was 2/3 of the zombie in the frozen horde, who I assume had just been like moving, and then got frozen. So the zombies at the bottom of the pile were the ones that were the least frozen, so they climbed to the top first. Like, I understood all of that. And they're cooking. And then all of a sudden, he cracks that fucker open, and they're like, oh, we can send these other zombies now. So only the side portion of zombies, the third of them who made the full attack, were attached to the pipe. The other 2/3 weren't attached to the pipe. What the fuck?
Oh, okay, so this is in the game too, and they do explain this, and I don't know if they'll ever explain it in the show, but basically, while they are connected, remember the stalker from the first episode? That's why they alluded to him. Stalkers are kind of like generals, think of them. So they can override the orders in a sense and be like, hey, come over here, you guys go over there. So it's not that they don't know what each is doing, or it's an automatic signal to go over there. Some can break off if they think that something is more important. So chasing the people on the horses, they were like, mill over here. They're like, okay, you guys go this way, we'll continue this way. That kind of a thing. And the bloaters are kind of like generals too, because they do whatever the fuck they want as well. They're more of like, they just murder anything that's in their path. And stalkers kind of have free autonomy where they can set traps or they can break off from a group and wait in a different spot for you. And when you're running from this side and thinking you're fucking safe, this thing will jump from the fucking roof and murder you, and then you have to fucking start again. Sorry, PTSD. Fucking stalkers suck. But so yeah, they are hive mind, but this is and this was implied in the game as well. They're evolving to where they have some autonomy and they can kind of delegate where their forces are going. Like some of the guys you see running, they're just infected, so they're bound to go in that direction. But some of them have independent thought. Some of them will be like, no, I'm going this way. So even the things that are infected are evolving. They got their own little social structure, and they got their own kind of systems and things like that. That's what is so fucking interesting about the lore too, because like as much as we joke, yes, essentially they are zombies, but not really. This is more of a parasitic organism, and it, like a virus, it evolves as it goes along, and that's why they can fucking climb.
No, it's just like Paris evolving into Parasect. And it turns into a zombie. Because Paris is a little crab with two tiny little fungus sticking out of him. Just two itty bitty. It's like, ooh, look at this little mushroom. It's like a tiny little Mr. Toad. And then it evolves, just like you said, and all fucking mushroom, and its eyes turn white, and he's like, I'm gonna murder you, motherfucker. That's what happens.
Welcome to the most interesting review you're ever gonna see. So
you don't get a lot of Pokemon references in The Last of Us, but you do in the fandom zone.
So
you know what I forgot to do last time?
What did you forget to do?
I forgot to thank our sponsor, MoviePalette.com.
Oh, why would you thank them? And how would they help?
I would thank them for the great deals that they run on their phenomenal products. And if you like The Last of Us, I would bet my bottom dollar that you go to MoviePalette.com, look up The Last of Us, and boom, it'll give you a movie palette from season 1. Every single episode on one nice high-quality piece of canvas, guaranteed to arrive before Christmas.
Facts. And enter the promo code.
Oh, promo code! Holy shit, you're telling me I can get a deal on top of the savings?
Yes, if you enter my promo code Zone15, you will save 15% off all of your purchases, plus whatever deals they have on the canvas. So if they already got 10% off, then you get the 15 on top of the 10, you're looking at 25%. Boom. That's more than tax.
Not to lie to people, and I don't know how to do the whole talk fast thing, but if it was 10% off and then 15% off of the 10%, it does not equal 25. It equals just under 24, but close.
Math. So, and this is why I'm PB. He does the math. I do the bullshitting. So
we gotta do it. We gotta do a tier list again. Are those other two guys even alive yet?
Yes.
I have not talked to Justin in quite some time, or Chris.
They are. Chris has been doing his thing, and the last time
his Masked Singer. Now, hilariously, I don't know why. My father was watching The Masked Singer. Like, I'm pretty sure he was watching Wheel of Fortune, and then it just came on after that, and he just hadn't changed the channel. But it was on a TV, and I was like, Chris does reviews of this, but he doesn't do The Last of Us. We fucking do.
So, back to The Last of Us. What did you think of the boss fight? I thought, besides him running into a corner, I thought this was awesome and so realistic to the game where you're blasting that fucker with the flamethrower.
Like, for this episode being so phenomenal, apparently I got a lot more problems with it than what I thought. Because I got a problem again, guy.
Oh my God, what's your problem? This guy's got problems.
First of all, he quite obviously knows that he's running out of gas. Like, he can tell that it's not shooting as far. I'm sure he can hear it as well. I don't know. Maybe it was just a camera angle. But when they do the looking at him, like we're supposed to be the frickin', what's it called?
POV.
No. What's the big fucking thing attacking him called,
Oh,
dickhead?
bloat.
A bloater?
Yeah.
Okay. When we get the bloater view, the flame is not on us. It's in front of us. And I was like, did you really waste some of your gas not like shoving this thing essentially right in its face so it can almost fucking touch you and then pulling the trigger? Because it don't move particularly fast.
Yeah, but you gotta remember too, that thing's got big swings. Like one hit.
This isn't my problem, guy. My problem is that after he expelled all of his, I don't know, jet fuel, I don't know what the fuck was in there, all his flamethrower juice. And he's like, oh, the thing is going to kill me now because it didn't die yet. Why the fuck didn't he empty his goddamn sidearm? How do you not empty? I'm sorry, I'm not out of ammo yet. I have another gun.
Okay,
Another
I can
gun.
explain that.
Oh, here we go. Another bullshit explanation.
No, this one, remember, he took his sidearm out before the bloater when he shot 2 of the infected, and then he shot the bloater, getting his attention, and I counted the rounds.
He took his sidearm back out once he went back to the group of people, which means he has ammo. Whether it's 1 bullet or 5 magazines, you empty every bullet you got into this giant thing trying to murder you.
Dude, do you like? Look, I agree.
Dude, they've been through some shit. He's
but
been through some shit. He's Joel's fucking brother. He's been through some shit.
Do you think a 9mm is gonna even your chances out anymore?
Guy, death by 1,000 cuts. And like, you don't need 1,000 because you don't need 1,000 because you started with a fucking flamethrower.
I can picture PB like, you might not die now, but when you walk down the road, boom. And it was because I emptied my clip.
Exactly.
No, I get what you're saying, but I could excuse it because of A, how big it was, and because that falling animation is from the game. And I was laughing so hard because that's how bosses die.
No, I was entirely okay with the way the thing died because I understand the organic nature of what it is, and that he's essentially like burning slowly even when he's not actively torching him. So it's like the thing's going to move until it runs out of enough nerve endings to move the corpse along.
Which, but no, yeah, this is why I love doing these reviews with you, because this is interesting shit. I didn't think about. Still, I can excuse it because it fixed a lot of other problems that, for me, were bigger than the ones we're talking about right now. And that's why I like talking to you, because you haven't played the game. So you're coming in as someone who just watches the show. So yeah, I'll be a lot more lenient because...
I mean, a person would think, like, you didn't play the game forever, you didn't play the game forever. And then you're like, oh, a lot of people talked about this game. And then they're like, oh, now the second one's coming out. You should catch up so that you can play the second one with us. And then it's like, I also have a whole bunch of other games that I still haven't played yet either. And then the second game comes out and you hear exactly 0 good things. And you go, thank God I didn't fucking fall in love with that first game. You suckers.
that was the biggest slap in the face. But okay, so we get that awesome scene. Let's not bury the lead anymore. Let's talk about the big moment. So
this was one of the this was before we jump to that, this was definitely one of the best zombie horde attack scenes I've seen in any movie or show. The only one that I say comes close to it is in World War Z, when they essentially build the pyramid to get over the wall. I love that scene. That's amazing shit.
Oh, a lot of people today appreciate World War Z. Back in the day, it did not make the box office.
People hated it.
And now, people always reference World War Z and talk about, you know what? It was actually a good movie. You know, that's what people are going to say about Morbius 5 years from now. They're going to see what we see, PB, that it made $1 more billion, which no other movie did, by the way. And they're going to see the genius behind every performance in that movie.
I fucking hope so.
We're going to be sitting here.
I'm not talking just about Jared Leto. Don't sell Matt Smith short either.
Oh no, I said performance.
You have not like I know that there's stuff out there like Guardians of the Galaxy and Footloose and Striptease with these amazing dance scenes. Nothing's better than Matt Smith.
No. You
will never find a better dance scene, especially with only one person dancing in it in an entire
I can't
film.
watch Footloose anymore because that scene ruined every other dance scene.
Right, it's like I thought that they were dancing good here, but it's trash.
No, it just changes your worldview. Anyways, so we get to another epic scene. Abby crawling through the shit. She, like a dumbass, goes off on her own. By the way, this isn't Muscle Mommy Abby, as we've grown to call her in the game.
Oh.
This is Ellie. Oh, I'm sorry. This is someone who should be playing an older version of Ellie, but yeah, that's a discussion for another day. Anyways, so she goes down the mountain, wakes all these fucking things up, goes running. I love the gate. And I like the shot because that fucking claustrophobic feeling, and there was the thing tried to put its fucking hand through the gate.
That's a hell of a shot.
Oh man, and its arm just splitting open while it's trying to force its arm in. Dude, this is such the camera work and cinematography in this episode, even in a poor episode. Those boys are not sleeping on the job. Like, give those cameramen some fucking raises because even the bad episode we said had great camera shots.
Yes.
And this is one of those things. And then I love the POV of the thing attacking and then just a side view and you see the gun go boom. That's exactly one that is ripped from the game, and two, translates so fucking well. I think it looks better in live action. And with him like, come on, let's go. Get up. He's like, can you move?
Maybe.
Run.
I don't know. I never played the game. I just know it was spectacular.
And so we get to the scene, and this is the first big correction. So in the game, Joel had gone on patrol, but he went on patrol with Tommy when Ellie asked where Joel was, blah, blah, blah. And it's Dina and her that go to the weed guy spot, but they switched it where it was Dina and the ex who go to the weed spot, which I think his name is John or something, James. So James in the game has no character development, and basically when what happened to him happens, you don't give a shit because they spend no time on the character development, or you got to go into town and talk to them in order to get the character development, which I didn't want to spend any more fucking time in that miserable game than I had to. So I did do all the secret shit. But this change in the game, her and Dina have sex in the weed shop. So one, I'm glad we cut the underage porn scene. And two, I think that this helps establish us with this character because I really fucking like him. I like how he doesn't take shit from Ellie. And I gotta say, I hate what they're doing with Ellie's character in this season. Like, we're supposed to believe that this is a 5-year time job, but yet she isn't playing it like someone who has matured. She's playing it like she did in the first season. And it's going to be difficult because now the story is not going to have the charismatic Pedro Pascal. We're going to be following Abby and Ellie. And I don't find either of them very interesting to follow. Abby, I fucking hated from the game. And guess what? I still fucking hate her. And guess what, Grace? You're fucking wrong. You know what the show did? It showed all of you fucking critics who fucking berated us gamers and said, oh, we're just sexist and misogynist, can't handle a strong woman. Well, you saw the acting. How'd you like it, Grace? Guess what? That's how the character was, and we fucking called it in the game, and you're like, oh, they made her unnecessarily cruel. The bitch was never nice! We said this! And it took good acting.
Nice.
Like, they said, oh, she goes on a journey, and the character assassinated her, and she was never brutal. She was one of those stupid people that thought that at the end of The Last of Us, Joel was wrong. That's why she took Abby's side, because she was like,
wrong for what?
For doing what he did when he killed all the doctors and potentially
Why to
stopped them
kill
from
all the
getting in trouble.
doctors?
So they said that so Ellie has the cure, and what they were going to do is cut her open without her consent, by the way, cut the top of her head, like remove her brain and use that for a potential cure. He doesn't even say we got the cure, we can definitely do it. He said potentially
Well, no, I
we
wouldn't
can
think.
make a vaccine.
I wouldn't think that they would have the cure. It doesn't seem like there's any bands left anymore. Yeah,
that was a great reference. So her, like a stupid section that's been debating this argument for like 10 years now, there's some people who think Joel was wrong, and there's some people who think Joel was right. And the people who thought Joel was wrong, coincidentally, happened to fucking love Abby in the game. Coincidence?
I think that's the
not.
whole point.
And they were like, oh, Abby is right. Abby is justified. Oh, dude, he literally saved her life. Saved her life from being eaten alive. Twice.
I mean, let's think of it this way. I guess Joel should have killed everybody in that fucking room.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he killed enough people.
Yeah, and all of them are to blame. And this is what I mean with the writing. So we get to the scene, we get to that and the horse and everything, and this is where the changes help, because having Dina there in the game, Dina just goes with Ellie, and it doesn't make sense.
Okay,
you got to put together.
Another random question: like, was there a time jump at the end of the season after he killed this doctor?
Yeah, it's 5 years later.
So Abby's only supposed to be 24?
Abby's 24 and Ellie's 19.
And Joel's supposed to be 60?
Yes.
The fact that she said he was attractive was creepy.
That's what
I like. Maybe you should go hang out with Belichick and his girlfriend.
Like, and you know, that's no hate on Belichick. You go pulling bitches like that. But anyways, I mean, it's still creepy, yes, but I get it. Anyways. So we get to see it, and it makes more sense because of they added a threat that would make him, or give me an excuse for him not to be on exactly his A game because he's worried about the town. I get that. They give a good reason why she would have his name. And so I like the setup for this scene. I had one small complaint. Why the fuck that they gave her that knockout thing where they could have just held her on the floor like they did Ellie. But okay.
Okay. The whole point of giving her the knockout thing is to show, good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
To show that they're like, she's going to be viciously brutal here, but she's not a total animal because she's going to essentially let this person skip the trauma of watching and or listening to the beatdown.
But you know who's going to see the trauma? The person who's like his daughter.
Well, she didn't get to see all of it, and they didn't know that.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of concessions made in this scene because
I'm pretty disappointed that she didn't kill any of them yet.
Don't worry, we'll get to that. It's retarded. We'll get there.
I thought what I thought was going to happen, because I was like, okay, I'm not a moron. I know Joel gets killed. Like, quite obviously, anybody who's on the internet knows that. If you're just watching the show, maybe you didn't. But I definitely knew he was going to die. So I assumed, like a dummy, that as soon as I seen that she was essentially breaking in scot-free because they're distracted by the beatdown, I was like, oh, fuck. She's gonna get like one or two of them at least before they get a beat on her.
Oh no, they were all in the room.
I know.
So she didn't take
I know they were in the room, and they literally. God damn it! Let me finish. They give you the camera angle out the window where anybody in that room could have looked out that window and been like, there's somebody arriving on a horse. They even made it, to me, seem like that's what they were going to do, because they quite clearly, like, she's not hiding at all, just galloping up. And I was like, oh, I guess they're trying to show us, because nobody said anything, that everybody is completely distracted with what's happening in this one room, because they're all in the same fucking room. So then Ellie's able to essentially slink her way through the entire fucking house and then open this door real slowly, and then she just kind of busts it open and takes a wild shot instead of like creeping in slowly. Pow, bitch. Pow. And then
you gotta remember too, though, she's 19. And that was
she'd been trained to survive for at least 5 years.
True, but remember, this I did understand, because James even made a reference to earlier when he says she doesn't take her training seriously. She doesn't take. So
How old was John when he went to the wall?
Well, we're not talking about the fucking guy who was propped up to be a hero but never became anything. But McQueen.
He did become something.
McQueen.
He killed McQueen.
But anyways, so yeah, I did have a problem with that too, but that was in the game.
Christine, did you watch The Last of Us?
So, I mean, because in the game, that scene plays out just like that too. And I said the same thing you said, but I was like, as long as they fix the initial scene, and I thought this whole thing was pretty well done.
It was very well done. I did a lot of bitching about this for the score that I'm going to give it.
So in the game, the golf club, the infamous golf club, and I love how they gave it its own shots too, because they knew the cat was out of the bag, unless you've been living under a fucking rock.
I lived under a rock.
So they zoomed in, they showed it being lifted up. It was like this big thing, but I felt like she got the Walmart golf club, because in the game that fucker doesn't break. She uses it to kill him in the game and split his head open. But in the show, I think, given her frame and the fact that in the game she's able to throw some punches in there too, and she's built like a fucking brick house, so it makes sense. But that wouldn't make sense in the show because the actress obviously doesn't do steroids. So
she used to when she was on Last Man Standing.
So I thought that.
Christine, I asked if you watched the TV show The Last of Us that we're spoiler reviewing.
Yeah, we're doing season 2, episode 2. But I like the fact that they did show how vicious she was. I like the villain monologue being interrupted, where she was like, "I'm gonna do this, that." He's like, "Just shut the fuck up and get on with it."
Oh, that might have been my favorite line from the episode. Just shut the fuck up and do it already.
And that whole dialogue.
You don't get to rush this, Joel.
No, old man. She said, "You don't get to rush this, old man." And I was like, when I saw that, so this was all straight out of the game. And now I'm not going to bury the lead. I do want to show you something, and go check out this channel if you want to see more Last of Us.
She saw the rerun.
Okay, good, because we're spoiling. So I'm going to do the comparison.
What did you think of it, Christine?
So this is by VGS video game.
Symphony of Destruction.
They do the contrast between game and show. So go check out their channel to see how the show.
You have no idea.
I don't get electricity in here. How fucking have you been? There are solar panels on the roof. Who are these people? How long y'all been here? Since yesterday.
Yes. Pause.
Yep.
It's Joel.
What did I just see? Who was all walking into that room?
So they get escorted by the guys.
Who's they?
Tommy and Joel. So that was Tommy
So
and Joel.
that is the scene that comes after Tommy and Joel getting stuck in the snowstorm and running into a random person that says, I got a cabin you can come to so you don't die.
Yeah.
That is the introduction.
Yep.
Carry on.
Now this is the show.
Jackson, do you copy?
No shit.
I'm Mel, by the way.
Tommy, this is my brother.
Joe.
He said his own name.
Yep. Did I not tell you it was stupid?
I thought, no, you
Don't
told
listen.
me that Tommy spilled the beans. What the fuck?
Y'all act like you heard of us or something.
Because they have. Put him against the wall.
Tommy!
So they intersplice that together.
Wait,
'cause
what
that
the
was
fuck just happened?
So the shotgun scene in the show and in the game, that was the same order. So they just cut it because you didn't need to see all that. They did that scene the same. They're just showing the differences between the show and the game.
Oh.
Get off me!
Oh, by the way, Joel is voiced by Troy Baker. If you guys don't know who Troy Baker is, he game voices every fucking game that's good ever. He did Batman and he plays Joker in Batman game, Arkham. He's a very good voice actor. So he's doing Joel's voice. He was also in The Last of Us Season 1.
Puta madre. You want to rob us? Fine. Take what you want.
Do we look like raiders to you? Joel Miller.
Who are you?
Guess.
Fireflies?
Used to be.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
That was a good line.
No, just shut the fuck up and do it already.
That was a better line.
Tourniquet
Yep.
his leg. Do it.
Isn't that the
Tourniquet
same?
him.
Mel, let's just do what we came to do.
Ah, those were close enough.
Don't you fucking move. God! Damn it!
Plus, I think it's gorier in the game, though. That is definitely a gnarly shot.
Clear out. Fuck.
So he did the cut because essentially it's the same.
Right, no, now we're Ellie again and she's trying to find what's going on.
Yep.
Pow!
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Fucking get up. Joel, get up. Oh, what I want, right?
End it. Now. End it.
Joel, get up. Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Fucking get up! Joel, please get up. No!
Ah, so they changed that a little bit.
Yep.
I feel like the show worked way better breaking it off and stabbing him in the neck.
Yep.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you!
I have a feeling she's gonna kill her. Don't they end up falling in love?
Her and Dina, but not.
You're all gonna fucking die!
I will give Bella Ramsey one thing. She did that good.
Get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up.
Who does the voice of this girl in the game?
The person who plays the mother in the show. I forgot the actress's name.
I'll fucking kill you.
Whoa, what are you doing? Benny, cleaning up. No. We're here for him. That's it. It's too risky.
It's too risky.
Yeah, so as you could see, there were little touches, like little things in the show, and I'm just gonna say it, I love the show version better than the game. And you even said, do you see what I mean where I was saying little things improve that scene that could have been done in the game very easily, given like
Well,
the
yeah, I
fucking
mean,
graphic nature.
You say like they're just essentially they're showing the video game scene and what the show did differently. They're not showing you the TV show and what the game did differently, which sound like they're the same thing, but they're not, because they completely gloss over the fact that in the show she had learned her name or his name beforehand.
Yeah. Which
Like, that's huge.
Which you see how I told you it changes the
I mean,
context
okay.
of why I hate the game.
I didn't play
version
either
versus
game,
this.
so I have a question because I don't know. In the first game, is there any instance, just one time, where Joel doesn't give his name or gives a different name because he doesn't trust the person he's talking to? Does that ever happen in the first game?
Yes, and he makes a point too. It was
That's what I thought.
it was in the episode with the Raiders when he said, "I'm gonna
You
run
suck,
over
Neil.
him."
You suck.
Yeah. Even in the show, which was the first season, which was close to the first game, when he met the black dude, he didn't tell them his name right away until he got to trust him and he saw the sun, and then he said, "My name is Joel." He didn't even give him a fucking name. And Neil's excuse, like Game of Thrones when they did the interviews, his excuse was Joel is older and he's let his guard down at this point,
Why?
and he's become more trusting because of being with Ellie. He's
That's
opened up
ridiculous.
more. Yeah,
I feel like the longer he's with Ellie, the less he trusts people.
Yeah, we're talking about a man in the first season.
He trusts
that
her.
murdered, confirmed 19 fucking people with families, didn't give a fuck, and murdered Abby's father, the doctor.
You don't know that all 19 people had families.
I assume most of them had wife and kids and things
It's a
like
post-apocalyptic world. Why would you assume most people have a family?
Because you gotta fucking save the species, man. People are fucking in the apocalypse like it's going outside.
People are not
right now.
saving the species. They're just having unprotected sex because the Trojan factories shut down. There's a difference.
So,
not to mention the fact, how many fucking pregnant ladies you see in a show?
Like you will this. Oh, wait for it, because the doctor lady, they haven't showed it yet. There's going to be another.
Who's the doctor lady?
The one who did the tourniquet for Joe's leg. She's pregnant. They'll reveal that later. And I don't know
She's
if
pregnant with Joel's kid.
No,
Oh, that's sad.
But it leads to one of the most controversial scenes in the game. I'll leave it at that. I hope we get.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, but this is what I mean with character assassination, because it's slower in the game. I don't like Bella Ramsey's performance as Ellie, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't blame her. I think the direction the direction she's given is not good. She should be more adult. Now, I could eat my words, and Joel's death could be the catalyst to make her the version that I know in the game, where she's more stoic. She's a lot like Joel in the second game. Because he was like a father figure to her. So she adopted a lot of his traits. So she doesn't trust people. She's stoic. She rushes into shit. She will kill a bunch of people and not fucking care. like she picked up a lot of the things. And Neil Druckmann says, "Oh, it's about the cycle of violence, and violence begots violence." And trust me, folks, trust me, the biggest thing in this show is going to need to be that needs to be changed is the end, because the end of the game, the worst possible resolution you could think of in your mind, take that, times it by 10, and you got how they end the game. Remember, as I say this is supposed to be a revenge tale. Most normal fucking writers on the face of the earth set up a thing to get revenge. And you know what the character gets at the end of the movie or the show or whatever you're making? They get that revenge. Now, they might die or they might lose a bunch of people, but you're watching these characters to get revenge. And Neil went against the grain and pulls a Last Jedi. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So whatever the fuck you think is going to happen by the end of this, the journey you want to go on, I can promise you, if they keep what they did in the game, you will be massively disappointed and very pissed off. It's like when you're with your lover, right? Or
At least we don't have to worry about season 3.
yeah, basically.
Or do you think they're going to do that with the show?
This is my thing. Now,
Do you think they'll just start making shit up and continue the show?
No. Craig Mazin has come out and said he's the person in charge of this show, along with Neil Druckmann, and they both said the same thing. And Neil still owns the rights. He's got some
money
kind of deal,
talks.
That's true. They could offer him a shitload of money, but they said they are done after the second game. The only reason why it got 3 seasons is because the second game is fucking long. So they got a lot of material.
Can't be that long.
So
we're already through like fucking. You said it was a 16-hour game. We're already through 4 hours.
No, we're only through the first 2.
No, we're not.
Yeah, that's only the first 2 hours when Joel dies.
God, that's not what you said earlier. You said you played as multiple characters, and we were 4 hours into the game already. So I got my numbers all confused. I guess that's possible too. Hit the rewind button.
Okay, so anyway, Joel's death happens 2 hours in the game. Then it cuts to Abby, and you do 2 hours. That's what I meant. So I might have not clarified that correctly. We're only 2 hours in at.
Don't you play as Abby before she kills Joel?
No. You play after. Joel dies.
So you play as Joel for 2 hours, and then you get murdered. And they're like, hey, would you like to play as the character who just murdered the person that you've loved for the entire fucking game?
Welcome to our world.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard.
Why do you think our friend Kiefer said he stopped after he didn't play the whole thing? Because he probably got done being murdered, realized he had to play the person who murdered him, and said, I'm good. I saw the end of the game. I don't need to see the rest.
Jesus Christ.
When I tell you this, remember what I said? This is a case where I will make a rare statement you'll ever hear on this channel, because PB knows I preach about source material.
Okay,
this is a rare instance when you need to not follow the source material. What
it sounds like, okay, you said Neil at some point said that this is a revenge story. That's what he said. Did he say that when the first game came out? Yeah, that's what I thought, because it's a bullshit excuse for just like, oh, no one's going to expect this. We're going to do that. No one's going to expect this. We're going to do that. You can do that so many times, and it does not work in every instance. And he found the perfect amount of how it doesn't work. My God. I'm trying to think of a comparison. That's like, you're playing Super Mario World, right?
Yep.
Or Super Mario, let's put it this way. You're playing Super Mario Brothers, right? Playing Super Mario Brothers. You play through the whole game. And you beat that son of a bitch. Now you're pounding that Princess Peach. That one cracks me up a little bit. Anyway, you're like, oh, oh, Super Mario Brothers 2 comes out, and you're like, oh man, that first one was great. Got some of that Princess Peach at the end. Yummy. And you start playing the game, and then you get to the end of the first world in the game, and then Bowser murders you, and you're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming at all. I guess we're playing as Luigi now. And they're like, no, you will play as the Turtle King.
And you get to see how he became the Turtle King after you killed his father in the first game. And so he grew up and he did steroids and he found the only fucking protein shop in all of the apocalypse, bulked up, started working out, invested in golf clubs, and then invested in golf clubs. And then he pulled the Tiger Woods on Mario's head.
I'm not going to lie. The golf club is super impractical in the sense that she wasn't carrying golf club. She was carrying an entire fucking golf bag through the mountains in winter.
But she wanted.
It's like, we're going to make the story about fucking zombies that run on fungus, and that's not going to be the most unbelievable thing.
No. And this is what I'm saying, where I've been saying for years, like, NPD, I have had arguments with defenders of this game, doing mental gymnastics to try to sell me.
You had an argument with Luke and Jessica?
Oh my God. With the Grace Randolphs of the world, who said...
Oh, not the defenders.
Not the defenders. Now, just think about this. Now, we've watched the death scene both times, and people who are in the chat, I see there's two. You've watched this too. Now, you tell me where Grace's statement on X made any goddamn sense.
What'd she say again?
She said they made Abby more cruel in this show, and they character assassinated her. Did we play a different game? Did I show the wrong clip? Maybe it's just me. Maybe that wasn't the game that clearly said the Last of Us.
No. I think that she has completely conflated her memories with what's actively happening, in the sense of she's played the entire game and therefore knows the entire story. Like, she knows what Abby's motivation was up to that point. Like, obviously in the show, we're like, oh, we're going to kill Joel because of what he did. Like, that's all we know, because of what he did. We don't, like, do we know if it's something that we've seen? Do we know if it's something before that? Do we know if it's something that happened in between 5 years? You don't know when you just say, well, he did a thing and we're going to get our revenge. You don't know who Abby is up to that point in the game either. And then she's all of a sudden murdering you because you are Joel, or murdering your savior if you are Ellie. Like, you play as both characters. It's not like you only play as one and you're always looking at the other one. You are both characters. I don't see how at that point in the story you would say, oh, well, she's way more cruel in the show and they destroyed her character. If anything, her character has more backstory to it in the show than in the game at this point in the story. Like, I feel like she totally discounted that if that's what she said. And that's without me playing the game.
And I think it, like, hold on. Just keep talking, because I want to pull up the exact tweet for all of you people to see. Because
the exact tweet will always be nice.
And it appeared on my feed. And that night, I hoped you watched it, because I wanted to flame this so bad. And hold on, here it is.
Like her tweets you wanted to flame? That's what you meant?
I wish I could fucking set that tweet on fire. It's the stupidest.
That's terrible. I don't... She definitely is adding her full experience to her partial experience. Go ahead.
She said, And I am not going to cover The Last of Us Season 2, and will probably stop watching the show. I really disliked last night's episode, despite liking cutscenes of the second game quite a bit. Abby was never cruel. But I see that people have enjoyed Denver's, that's the actress who's playing Abby right now, performance. So I don't
Hold
want to
on.
be critical of it.
Hold on. I mean, maybe because they were only showing us the differences. So in the game, do you actively see Abby railing into him with her fists? Do you see
Yeah.
that in the... Okay, that's what I thought. Because you said they're showing the differences, and they didn't show that part at all, because it's exactly the same,
The same.
as it is in the movie. So I don't see how a person could be more or less cruel when you're beating someone to death.
And
How's
she
she
goes,
not fucking cruel in the game?
and to clarify, re my statement that Abby was never cruel in the game, she never took pleasure from killing Joel that I saw. It was a horrible task. She felt she needed to be done. I showed the side by side so I could get
Where
to
in
this
the
post.
fuck? Whoa. I didn't... What did she see in the show? I did not see a woman who was taking pleasure like, oh yeah, that feels good. It seemed like she was like essentially screaming her head off, letting out all of the anguish from, you know, the trauma of looking at her dad's brains on the floor next to his body. Just
in the show, she smiled, she smirked, and she monologued.
In the show, she smiled, smirked, and
Yeah, she's talking about when Abby says her thing like, remember the fireflies and blah, 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 there's none left. And she gives the big speech and she goes, who do you think
so
you are?
they actually give character to the character.
Yeah, imagine that. And she doesn't want to cover the show because, and I like this post by Dan. He said, in the game, the torture went on long because Abby was almost out of it. Lost in grief, losing track of time. In the show, she explicitly sets out to do it slowly. From the reactions from her crew are even more pronounced. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. And Grace said, agreed. So there's retards who actually agree with this post. And I was like,
except that he disagreed with her in the first half of his statement and then agreed with her in the second half. What? Read that one again?
So he says that she was sadistic and cruel in the game, but in the show,
right? So his very first part of his statement is, "I disagree with you, Grace."
Yes, and then he goes on because obviously he doesn't want to get banned. He goes on and tries to backtrack and say, but the reactions were more pronounced from the crew, and so it made her appear a little bit cruel. And I was like,
I think that has to do more with the way that the video game is built, in the sense that they weren't focused on the reactions of everybody, because the way they set it up in the show is that we're hunting this guy down to essentially hang him. Like, we know the crime that he committed. We're going to get him. We're going to put him there. Boom, dead. That's what they thought was going on. But she took it to a personal level that they weren't expecting. I don't understand what the problem is with that. That's good writing.
And this is...
Or good directing.
This is the thing that I said why I'm giving this episode a 9, because this finally proves, like, I feel like this is a click moment for her, and she just doesn't want to admit that Abby was a fucking piece of shit. She was always a piece of shit.
Can you imagine, like, HBO comes out and's like, biggest show we've ever fucking had. And then I went to the internet and went, I didn't like it. It was terrible. Oh, people will engage with me now.
Like, for me, there's no reason you make a statement like that unless you want the engagement. And I've heard her say this bullshit before, like she didn't cover Brightburn because there's a scene where he tears a girl in half.
Brightburn is amazing.
And it's amazing,
Quite possibly. Best Superman movie ever.
Facts. But Grace Randolph wouldn't cover that because she said, "Oh, what he did to the little girl was so terrible." Blah blah blah.
I know, that's
And
what made it amazing.
and it's like, I understand the excessive cruelty being done to women could be it
Did
could
she watch The Terrifier?
yeah, it could be much. And I get if you don't know, she refuses to rate those either. Are you shocked? And this is supposed to be someone who does what we do. PB, how many fucking shitty things have we watched? How many times have we ripped apart things we love? In the
Well,
pursuit
you,
of being
you gotta, you
objective.
gotta, you gotta be honest.
I mean, and how many
Until Disney
times
starts paying us.
have we gone out and being Star Wars fan had to go, I'm sorry, this is a piece of shit. I mean, this is wrong.
Well,
this
I feel like we've taken the turn on that one where it's like a lot of the stuff that came out was just like, okay, right? A lot of it was just okay. It wasn't
Okay.
bad. It wasn't Last
yeah.
Jedi or Rise of Skywalker bad, but it wasn't
was
like it just like The Mandalorian is the perfect one. Everybody watched season 1 and we were like, wow, fucking amazing. And then you watch season 2 and you're like, whoa, that's really, really good. Then you watch season 3 and you're like, oh, this is a pretty damn good show. Then you watch season 4 and you're like, yeah, it was good. So they're all good. They're all good, but they're not. Nothing has. Now, the movie isn't excellent, but if we're talking about the magic of like pulling you in, I don't know if they made anything since The Force Awakens that has the draw. But The Force Awakens had the nostalgia draw. Like, that's all you had to go off of was the nostalgia. You didn't be like, okay, well, they've made 5 movies and they've made 10 different TV shows. And if you add it all together and compare it to the prequels, you'd go, I guess it's Star Wars. You'll be like, oh, fuck yeah, I need to see that shit. And then they made fucking Andor.
And let me tell you something, we will be revealing that. We'll do it tomorrow.
A show that you would almost have guaranteed was only going to get 1 season, and they're like, no. We're giving you more of that.
Yeah,
Thank
this is
you.
the final season. And it's supposed to lead into Rogue One. And this show.
Anyway, my point was, I feel like we're the ones at this point now where everyone's like, Star Wars is dead. You're not going to want to watch any of it. And I was like, you're missing out then. That sucks for you. Like, you got to give it a chance.
And so, bringing it back to The Last of Us, that's where I say, I feel like the people who like the game are not going to like this show because it is retroactively doing what Andor did to Rogue One, and it makes it better. Like, now, I feel like, and please change the ending, because I tell you, if they keep the ending that they fucking have in the game, there's going to be a lot of pissed off. You think Joel's death tripped your trigger? Wait till you get to the resolution, because it is so goddamn stupid. You're going to kick yourself for ever investing your time into this. It's got to be, I would say, actually, that Game of Thrones ending is not as bad as the ending of this game. And it was all for the sake of nihilism and a stupid fucking message that they beat you over the head with anyways. So giving the ending that they did was just cruel and sick punch. Like, this makes me think Neil Druckmann has a fucking torture chamber in his basement and he beats his meat while fucking whipping himself with one of those things, the belts with the fucking spikes on it, and he's going like this and going, yeah, and then Ellie's gonna fucking die, and Joel dies, yeah, baby, we're gonna kill dogs and pregnant women, yeah! That's honestly how I think this game was conceived. Like,
didn't the Terrifier kill a pregnant woman? Or Art? Didn't he kill a pregnant woman?
No, he hasn't gone that far yet.
Oh, that's sad.
But he's worked his way up. He killed kids. He's getting there. But anyways, yeah, every everything that they could do for shock value in the game, they did. They make you fucking play with these dogs as Abby. They're cute. You get attacked by them, and as Ellie in the game, you fucking murder them. Like, it is a game that simulates torture and puts you in misery for 16 hours, and then when you think you're going to get an ending, so you get some kind of, like, any kind of good feeling, like, you know, I went through all this bullshit, but at least I got... Neil says, "Oh, you thought you were...
No soup for you.
No soup for you. You thought I was going to let you leave this motherfucker happy?
Putty tat.
Nah. Here's
No
the
putty
strap
tat.
on. Bam! He bends you over, no fucking lube, and rams that fucking big black fucking 14-inch cock right into your ass.
There's
and has
no
it...
way Neil is packing anywhere near that.
I said the 14-inch fucking strap on.
Oh, I missed that, but I don't think
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
packing that either.
that fucking big fucking black fucking cock
I don't
strap
think
on that he has. And he rams it right in your gamer ass, and he goes, "Ha! Not only did I waste fucking 16 hours of your time, but now you get to be miserable for your whole fucking day."
It makes you wonder how the first game was so good.
And here's the thing. Neil didn't write the first game. He was the executive producer who put the team together, but he was not in charge of the story. Took over the story. Guess when, PB? The second game. The
Chapter
person who
2?
wrote... Yes, the person who wrote number 1 left Naughty Dog after he saw the direction
Woof.
that they wanted to take the second game. The writer left, and Neil took over writing, and that's what we got. So, now, unlike the game, I think Neil doesn't really have a choice, but I think he gets along with this Craig Mazin guy. And now he's got Craig Mazin, and thank you, Craig, to say, "Hey, Neil, buddy, sit down, have a Kit Kat. Let me talk to you. We're making a television show. I can't put this in and still have people to watch the end of this fucking show. We're not gonna change much, Neil. Sit down, have your bottle, it's fine. We're not gonna change much." And then Neil comes out and goes, "Well, some of the notes that Craig gave me, you know, I wish I put them in the game." And there's still people who didn't say you defend the fucking game. And Neil said from his own mouth, you can watch the behind the scenes. He says Craig Mazin has put some amazing ideas in the show, and I quote, "that I wish I would have thought of to put in the game." Thought of! Which means this motherfucker never thought of a simple little thing, little dialogue, and swapping a couple characters around to make one scene make sense. That fixes all your problems.
Well, fixes that problem.
But you get, it's like, it was like a George Lucas situation with the prequels. There was no one to rein in George on some of his bad ideas, right? And don't get me wrong, still better than anything new put out. The prequels are, but you could kind of see where George, everybody said, "Yeah, George, that's a great idea," instead of going, George, Jar Jar George. We got to talk about Jar Jar. I think you need to, like, rein him in a bit or make him less fucking stupid. Like, and that's what I think Neil was missing. He didn't have that guy to rein him in. So now when you folks get to this awesome death scene, and, you know, it's not awesome. We lost Pedro Pascal. But you get what I'm saying. You feel it more because it makes sense. Whereas when I played the game, I was pissed off for the duration of my game. That was 2 hours in, folks. I was pissed off for the remaining 13. Because then I had to play the murderer for another 2 hours.
I can't even think of another game where they're like, here's a character that you get to play for an entire game. Ooh, we're making a new game, bringing all the people back that you love. And then we're going to murder him off. And then you get to play as the villain who murdered him.
It was bold. It was a bold strategy, Cotton. It didn't pay off for him. And that's where I think doing a show helps too, Because then if you switch to POV, people aren't playing them. You're just getting a different perspective of the story, but you know it's going to come back to the character that you like. It's less jarring. But for me, I honestly think if they change the ending, because if they don't, then this becomes a 2. But I think, I'll tell you, PB, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it for you folks, and I don't know if that's how they're going to end it. I won't spoil it. I want you to feel, if they keep in the exact events, I want you to
he
feel.
spoils it before I get to it, everybody.
I want you guys to feel what I felt, because it's undescribable. It's like, I think it was a worse feeling than walking out of The Last Jedi. Because The Last Jedi, I was just stunned and shocked, and then we needed therapy, and we talked about it for years, and we still talk about it to this day. But this feeling was more of,
we only talk about it because it's terrible.
I wasted $60 and 16 hours of my life, and then a second playthrough that I can't get back, because I played it through the second time to make sure when I did my review, I wasn't like messed up. Like, oh, I want to see, folks, I wanted to be the guy coming in here and telling you, I don't like the changes, man. It ruins the integrity. No, I'm not that guy. I love it. Keep fucking changing shit. Like, you saw you saw the side by side, right? This scene plays so much better. And the fucking mind-boggling thing was, it's not the game couldn't do it, because I saw where you were going, PB, where like, oh, well, you know, for time and you're playing a character, I get you can't do it. Sure. No, it wasn't that they couldn't do it. It was that, according to Neil's own statement, he didn't think of it. Or, oh, that would have worked better. Who the fuck read the draft? Who proofread it? You know how many things go into game design? People got to make the levels. They got to go over the story and fit the level to the story. They got to make sure the seeds are right. There's a lot of fucking people. And no one in that chain stopped and said, Neil, yeah, I'm designing this thing to do this talk with these kids. And I'm a little confused on why he said this and he said that. I mean, I'm not questioning your writing skills, but
I am.
Make any sense? Because I gotta animate this, and it seems fucking retarded that Joel would say his own name, and he's a survivalist, and he's lived for 60 fucking years. So obviously, this isn't his first rodeo, and I'm not understanding this scene. What? It's only gonna take me 2 days to redo it.
Send it to print.
And he was like, fuck no, the gamer's socks are gonna be blown off.
If you build it, they will cry.
And dude, this is the ridiculous thing. Now, you're gonna hear on the internet, The Last of Us didn't sell well. That's bullshit. This is the thing that hurts me the most, is that Neil will not learn his lesson, because The Last of Us 2 sold more copies than The Last of Us 1. And won Game of the Year. That year.
The second one got Game of the Year?
Second one got fucking Game of the Year.
By who?
By the fucking Game Awards. Tons of it got showered with Game Awards. Yeah, because the critics thought it was bold. It was it touched me so deeply, and I learned about the cycles of violence, and that Abby was so great with her unrealistic proportions. But yet, if we have a sexy fucking model with some side boob, those same critics will go, I'm not gonna play that. It's so derivative, and it's degrading women, and it's making them let me remind you guys, the main villain of this show and of the game is a fucking woman hell-bent on revenge. But that's empowering. Abby is even on top 10 lists of best villains in a video game.
Yeah, because you get to play as her? Is that like the reason? Well, how could she be such a good villain in a video game? She's not even cruel.
You're right. She was character assassinated last night. Definitely not cruel.
No, she was character assassinated in the video game because she wasn't cruel enough.
Yeah, and they didn't even fucking tell you who the person was. Unlike in the show when they introduced you in the first fucking episode, we didn't even get that. She just appears and we save her. And you're thinking you're just saving a normal fucking person.
Right? You're like, I'm gonna have a harem of young bitches now.
Yep, you're like, Joel's gonna get his pimp on. His brother might, he might have to share some with his brother, but that's cool. Brotherly love, bros before hoes.
Yeah.
And then you walk into that bullshit in the dumbest fucking sequence ever. And you heard it, so I'm not like over hyping this. Like, is that not the dumbest setup that, and you can't tell me they couldn't have designed it any other way. That was the dumbest setup for them finding out who he was. He just happened to run across her, just happened to go to the revenge murder cabin, just happened to, like, and that's where I'm saying the show is so much better. Like, I got more teared up this time around. Like, I felt what I should have felt in the game. Like, ah, man. And even them revealing her, when you see her get there, it adds more tension because you're like, oh, shit, don't say it. And then you see Dina say, Joel, we got to get, and you go, oh, fuck, man. And it's organic because you're like, oh, she would say that because she's younger and she's nervous and she's like saying his name and she didn't even realize he was with somebody because it makes sense. She was by herself, right? So she doesn't know he brought someone. So, of course, she's going to yell out his name. That makes more sense to me than, oh, let me go help you. These random people come up with us to this cabin. It's all good. We'll fucking save you. And then, oh, my name is so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. My name is Tommy. My name's Joel.
I'm Joel. Huh? Huh?
Yep.
He said Joel? Like, he said his name is Joel, everybody?
And you saw, and that's why I wanted to play this side by side, so you specifically got an idea, and that raises my score up more. And I think for all the shit Bella Ramsey's been getting, like, first of all, people, grow the fuck up. Stop harassing the actress. It's not her fault that HBO didn't cast a different Ellie this season. They probably contracted her for 2 or 3 seasons, and I'm sorry that they couldn't get her to look a little bit older, but I'm looking at the performance, and we saw the side-by-side comparison. Like, yes, Game Ellie was very good, probably my favorite, but Bella Ramsey delivered those lines the way that they should have been delivered. Did she not? Would you watch? Her performance is damn near...
No, she does a good job.
Does a great job.
She doesn't look like Ellie, but she does a great job.
Yeah, so when I say I have a problem with Ellie, I don't have a problem with her look. I have a problem with that was her best performance this season because the rest of her lines and stuff have been shit. I think this season especially, because we're supposed to believe it's a 5-year time jump, it's not the look that throws me off, but the help me out, behavior. I feel like even my daughter, right, in 5 years is totally different than she was 5 years ago.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it'd be tough for you to tell considering now and 5 years ago, she was still more mature than you.
She's more mature now, though. She's like Sage compared
to
you.
But how can you tell? You're 12.
Fair.
I'm the same.
Fair. You got me there. I'm
not throwing shade here. I'm just stating facts. I am also 12 mentally, but
Sierra
12 for the ladies.
Anyway, so I think that this is the thing that throws me off, and I don't know if you've felt this, but I see her potential in a scene like that, where she's watching Joel being murdered. But every other scene came off as annoying to me. Did you get that sense, or were you not as affected? So you picked that up too. It felt like
Abby's
the
scenes?
scene.
Was that what you said? Abby's scenes, right?
Abby's scenes, I felt her acting was better. But when she had her own, Like when Ellie had her own scenes, they fell off. Do you see what I'm saying? It feels like
Oh,
two drastically different performances where I get whiplash because one moment I don't think she's good as this character, but then you get to that fucking death scene, and goddamn if she shouldn't get a fucking award for that. So
Fucking get up, Joel.
yeah, and it was so good. You would think I showed the side by side. It was exactly like the game, but then you get her performance when she's talking to James in town, and you're like, why the fuck is she being such an asshole? You know what I mean? It's like two very different performances,
yeah, she
and
was definitely being a bitch in town.
yeah,
You
but
don't
then
have to talk about us. You don't have to worry about us. We're Joel and Ellie, and we'll be fine.
Like, tell your fucking therapist that then. Oh, wait.
that's what I mean. I get whiplash from the performances because and I agree with the internet in some sense. Like, yeah, she doesn't fit the character now, but then you get that scene where Joel dies, and you go, "Holy fuck! I don't know who else could have delivered it like that." So there's a big disconnection, and I want to say it's the direction.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I had to put up the Nick Cage. There's a big disconnect there because
We gotta wrap this up.
I feel like it's just poor directing. But anyways, yeah. So all in all, yeah, I thought it was great. So let's go to ratings. I'm gonna give this a 9, and you know I always
I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, and after you see the side by side comparison, this is 20 times better.
It's quite obviously better than the video game, so like that should be an improvement for anybody who played the game. So they're welcome. You know, instead of just having Neil, you have HBO being that they want a good show instead of a shit show, which is what the game was, story-wise.
And I think they learned when they were like, "Oh yeah, we went through this with D&D. No, you're gonna fucking change this because we already gave all the money to one show, and that one fucking crashed and burned spectacularly. We're not doing that shit again. We want like Sopranos."
No, I mean, I look at it this way: like, I bitched about a lot of minor, almost inconsequential issue. Like, it's totally inconsequential that he did not unload his firearm when the bloater was coming towards him because it died. It's totally inconsequential that he didn't do that. It just kind of is like, oh, I wish you would have. But all these little things together still only come up to 1 point off.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, to me, this was the best way you could have did his death.
It's not like they had the opportunity to have a Kenobi-style episode where you're like, oh, man, that was really fucking awesome. And then you're like, I can't believe you do that. That's so fucking dumb. Like, they had the opportunity to do that, and they did not.
No, instead, they made everything make sense. I think the changes are for the good. Now, big asterisk. This gets a 9. The last episode, I think we gave a 5.
I don't know how you do nasty. But it was a 6.
Or a 6, yeah. It was somewhere in there.
But, 6?
Yeah, I gave it a 5. You gave it a 6. But at the end of the day, this could all change if the ending stays the same. Because people, I'm telling you right now, if they do all of these changes, but it still doesn't amount to anything, I think it'll piss me off more that they stuck to the game. Because I'm going to be like, if there was ever a chance for you to do a rewrite on the fucking ending, now is the opportunity. And they're going 3 seasons. Like, you have plenty of time to make the ending not piss off people. Because I'm telling you right now, if they keep the same ending, then retroactively, this whole fucking season, 2 and 3 will both get a fucking 0. I will say it would be a fucking 0 because still you have the same problem. It amounted to nothing.
Everybody knows what happened in the main event at WrestleMania. If you're even vaguely a wrestling fan, and they're like, "Yeah, the show was really great," and then,
yep, straight down the shitter. And we said the opposite too. You could have a show that's what happened with Daredevil Born Again for us. It got better, got to fucking 8, fucking
Well,
spectacular.
I was
And then
gonna
boom,
say
9.
it started pretty good and went up, and then there's like a mid-season lull where you're like, I just wanted some more. Like, there's not enough was happening, and then them last 2 episodes, whoosh.
And that's what I'm hoping for this, because at the end of the day, I would like to like the second part of this game because it is essentially that, and then Neil is not making a third game. It's not happening. And so I need the ending to be different, because if that's how it ends and I get 2 versions of that, I'm going to be very fucking salty, because it'll be like, this is your chance to actually fix what you fucked up. This is a rare opportunity where this show could retroactively make the second game better.
I just looked at this on my handy dandy TV Time app, which lets you rate the episodes 1 to 5 stars. Okay, so 5 stars is a wow, and then it goes great, good, okay, and 1 star is bad. And like a good show is going to be somewhere probably in the 80s for 5 stars. This particular episode has 93% 5 stars, 5% 4 stars, 1% 3 stars, 0% 2 stars, and then 1% complete fucking morons. I wonder who that could be, Grace.
Yeah. It's amazing.
How do you do 1% on that? I mean, there's occasionally that there will be shows on this app where, hundreds, if not thousands of people rating it, where there will be 0% on 1 and 2 stars and just like through the fucking roof. And there's still 1% of people on this episode of TV. This episode is the one where you're like, well, it's shit. What? I don't know how you come to that conclusion.
And that's why I wanted to do this review and do it the way that I did, because I think, and I wanted to do it with you because for me, I've played the game. You're the actual person here who's never fucking touched the game, so you have no point of reference with that. But to hear your opinion and still hear how you have a sensible opinion, and now we're getting people who've played this game that have defended it, and I feel like at this point, they've defended it for so long that now if they're forced to admit they were wrong, because this has been a debate, folks. You guys don't understand. People have been debating this game for 5 fucking years. We're getting into Last Jedi territory and how fucking debated this game is. This game is the Last Jedi of The Last of Us, okay? This game split the fans directly in half. And there is nobody who's that poor bastard in the middle. There's no Chris Knight. There's nobody who says, well, I don't think it's the best, but I don't hate it. I'm in the middle. There's nobody like that. There is either you love this game or you hate this game. Fucking guess which side I'm on. But we all played through it. We all have those scars. So it's been this debate. And I feel like the side who's been vocal, the most vocal, because game journalists and apparently regular TV journalists, they have been living in this delusion that they weren't wrong. And now that the show is making these scenes look better, they can't admit to themselves or the millions of fucking idiots who listen to their opinion, like, you know what? Maybe we got it wrong. They can't do that. So they're going to, of course, be on that side that goes, well, it's not like the game. And you know what? Being on the other end of it, I kind of hear myself saying what you say. Fuck the source material. What did they do in the show? Because I played the source material, fuckers. Guess what? I'm going to edit it like this. Change everything. and especially fucking changing the end. That needs the biggest change. And I'm going to be honest, I don't see Neil. I can see him giving concessions because he did little changes here and there. Like, yes, swapping the two characters is a big change and changes a lot of the dynamic, but I don't see him going change the whole ending. Because
I'm sorry. I'm reading through some of the responses to one comment on here, and I got to this response. Rick is not dead, but Joel is.
yep. I loved people who haven't played the game. Now, these are just regular viewers. I love how some of them have like tried to make like excuses like, "Oh, we didn't see him." Folks, you saw him being carried in the fucking bag. Okay, that's Joel. Some people were saying, "No, that isn't Joel." They left him at the cabin and he's gonna recuperate. I've heard that. And I go, what are you gonna say at the fucking funeral? That's not Joel's body. What it was they found a double, and they put him on the fire. Joel's gonna show up at the end. No, folks. Welcome to our world. He's fucking dead. That's it. You're lucky. I saw the promo for next week's episode. You at least get a episode to mourn him. I did not get that. Even when we return back to Ellie, you get a bullshit flashback to kind of remember what it was like to play the first game, where you get to play a whole level with Joel and you go to the Smithsonian, and then that's it. That's all you get. They wasted fucking Troy Baker, got paid like fucking $2 million. Easiest fucking payday. He did like 3 days work of lines. Because you just get the beginning and you get the fucking flashback. And that's it. They don't do a funeral. There's no big memorial. There isn't shit. There's just like, okay, we gotta go kill this bitch. And that's it. You just fucking hop right into it and you're like, Joel who? Like, they treated this character, which basically is the foundation of this fucking product. They treated him like a piece of shit just so they can get you to sympathize with this fucking piece of shit. And I think Grace realized how much she was a piece of shit because the actress did such a good job that she is now pissed off the defenders of this game because, oh, she's too cruel. No, fuckers. That's how she was in the game. There is no difference. In fact, you get more of a reason, which we don't get, because I showed it to you. You just fucking meet her and she murders you. You get no context. You don't even find out about her father.
That's exactly what's going on here. It says, thanks, I knew it was coming, but Bella Ramsey, Pedro Pascal, Caitlin Devers did an amazing job. I felt less shock comparing to the game because of what they show of Abby first. Duh.
And that was the point. Because good television, you don't kill the person right fucking away like they did. Because guess what? Nobody is going to fucking tune into the show. And I heard the stupidest argument yet, PB. This is going around. The show is going to tank now because of this. And I said, no, it would tank if you did it in episode 1. It would tank if you did it at the end of the season, because then you're just leading people on. And then they're not going to tune in for season 3 because you just fucking kill the character and go be, well, fuck, I don't need to watch this. But if you do it in the second episode, you get people going, well, I got to see, you know, what's Tommy going to do because that's Joel's brother. All right, we got Ellie. She's going to, you know, go murder ninja.
This guy was not listening to any of our live streams. So fans didn't hate the game, full stop. A very loud minority hated the game. And yes, many of them claimed it was over Joel's death. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. That was part of it. That is definitely part of it. But it is not like, I hate the game because they killed Joel. No. Lots of main characters get killed in games. It happens a lot. It's not a problem. The problem is you don't usually play as the guy who just murdered you.
Name one game in the history of gaming. You can't.
I need more time.
You can't.
I need more time. Killer Instinct?
I mean, but that's a fighting game, and does it really have a story?
No, it doesn't. Clay Fighter?
Oh.
Bye, Christine.
Bye, Christine. Thank you, and hopefully, she put a game over. I like that. And that's what I mean. It wasn't allowed minority, and yes, there were some ignorant people who said they hated the game because Abby like a fucking bodybuilder. It didn't make sense, and you know what? It didn't make sense because we're in the fucking apocalypse. Like, they give you a bullshit montage of her lifting weights, and we're supposed to believe she turned into a fucking Incredible Hulk. But okay.
Oh man, so Pedro Pascal is still in the show because they're going to be showing flashbacks. Gay.
There is one really good one though, and the Smithsonian flashback is going to actually explain why Joel and Ellie are arguing in the beginning, like you saw, because they still haven't given that reason yet. And that's when I realized, oh, Pedro isn't done. He's gonna be you guys get. Well, in the game, we only got 2 flashbacks. So maybe Neil's feeling generous, and you lucky fucks will actually get more. Because in the game, we get 2. You get one where you play the song. Oh, this was the other touch I like. You know the song that plays at the end of the episode? That's sang by the voice actress, and that was in the game. It's called Through the Valley. Through the Valley is the name of the song. And that's playing at the end of the episode. That's the voice actress, and that's the song that plays in the flashback that really brings up the tears. Yeah, they played that too. So everything about this episode was done so well, because that's when I kind of got the tears, because I got the reference. But yeah, you're going to hear that song again, and it's Joel is teaching her the guitar. So you get that flashback, and you get Joel and her in the museum. And then I think was there another one? No, there was only 2. Those were the only 2, and they were like 13 or 14 hours into the game. You go to take out the fireflies, and you get to the Smithsonian, and she flashes back to when her and Joel went together, and then you play the murder mission. So, yeah, everything already is done well, and that's where I'm saying, like, I saw the scenes coming up, and they're going to do that flashback in this season. So you only have 1 left, which I'm gathering they're going to save for season 3. But no, I saw the guitar one too. So you only get Pedro for this second season, and you get him in fucking flashbacks. So do you think, like everybody else, you know, the other side, we always talk about them, do you think the ratings are going to drop off? Or do you think the ratings are just going to go up?
I think the ratings are going to drop because I didn't see anybody in this comment section that I'm reading through be like, oh, and I'm going to make sure, because I love the episode so damn much, that I'm going to have all of my brothers and all of my sisters and all of my cousins watch next week. Nobody had a comment like that, but I've read several comments that were like, yeah, I'm out. I don't have to watch this crap anymore. I was only here for Pedro Pascal. That's what the one said. Oh, shit. The ratings are not going to go up. So I'm glad that they had their highest rated episode of all time, because it's not going to go up. Like, you're not going to have extra people be like, oh, did you see that show on HBO last week where they killed off their main character? And the person's going to be like, I just want to eat my fucking wings, man.
This isn't like a Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones situation where you're going to have
enough
the Red Wedding, but you're still going to be
there's not enough build up in the sense that it hadn't been around long enough. I mean, think of it this way. You watch a season of Game of Thrones, it's at the beginning 10 episodes long. So that's 2.5 months worth of talking about the show while it's actively on. And then you got, I don't know, a lot of people, on the internet at least, the ones that like keep it in your mind, keep talking about it, you're going to talk about it for at least a couple weeks afterwards. You'll be like, oh man, I still can't get over it type shit. And then,
I can't believe Sean Bean died again.
Right. And then it kind of, goes into the background for a while, and you're like waiting for updates when filming is starting, when editing is starting, all of the actual making of the show parts. And then you have the month before it come out of, here's a trailer.
Promo.
Here's another trailer. Here's another trailer. Look at this dragon. And they did that for 6 years. And by 6 years, I mean closer to 9. Because if you do, you got 2.5 months of show.
We fucking
running.
waited, PB.
You got 2.5.
Waited how many years?
You got 2.5 months of the show running, which means that let's just round it up to 3 instead of 12 months for a season. It's 15 months because there's a year in between. So it takes the whole fucking year to make it. It's a huge difference compared to your show comes out in the fall, it runs for a few weeks, goes on a little break, and then it comes out in the spring, runs for a few weeks, and then takes the summer off. That's a huge difference from 10 weeks and then 52 weeks of nothing.
And that's the issue.
You can build quite a following over 9 years.
And that's the biggest problem, which is why I wanted to wrap up with the ratings, because the biggest problem is, like you read in the comments, people who don't know the game, okay, they got attached to Pedro Pascal.
And do you know who knows the game?
This guy!
No. Triple H.
It is all about the game and how you play it.
It's all about control, and if you can take it.
Which, by the way, Triple H made it into the Hall of Fame by goddamn time.
Yeah, and then fucking kiss Shawn Michaels on the mouth. Did you see that?
Fucking epic moment.
Whoa!
I was like...
So, obviously, I only seen the clip, and then somebody down in the comments was like, if you would have heard what Shawn said before that happened, you would understand. I was like, take some more copium.
Yeah,
like, just let people freak out about it, because it caught me off guard when I seen the clip. They're like, look at what Triple H did, and I was like, what? And that was it. Now I kind of find it funny because it was a weird look. Because he grabs him by the face and then he picks him on the lips. And I was like, did that really just happen? I was like, what kind of kayfabe bullshit is this?
There were 2 epic WrestleMania moments for me. One was CM Punk's live, because I love that song. I'm a counter personality. He had the fucking band played it. Oh my god, dude, I fucking freaked out. Bitchy had to come into the room and tell me to shut the fuck up because I was I was live.
We can't start talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
We are wrapped. We're over 2 hours already.
All right. So, anyways, my whole point is with this, I think that this had the problem I told you which was going to happen because I even prepped you to go, don't get too attached to Joel.
I already knew he died, guy.
I said to people, don't get attached to Joel. You might want to like fucking Ellie because the rest of the show...
I know most of it because I don't know how many streams we did about The Last of Us 2 because we were doing streams when it leaked, and then we were doing streams when it came out, and then we were doing streams after you were done playing it.
Oh, yeah. It was like, you might as well have played the game at that point. I pretty much just told you everything in my rants. And so, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Now, most people... average people are, of course, going to gravitate towards Pedro Pascal. Now that he's dead, how many of those people do you think were like, you know what, Pedro's awesome, but this Bella Ramsey, Ellie, I'm in it for her.
I'm not gonna lie. After Ned Stark dies, it almost becomes like a little bit of a game of, ooh, is the character whose ship I'm on now, are they going down Are they going to survive? And guess what? They died.
So it's like, but a good written show can do that where they have enough good characters for you to latch
Oh yeah,
onto.
there's only. I mean, in this show, let's be honest.
I
You
like
care,
Tommy.
You well, okay, but you care about Tommy's not in the show barely.
I mean, for what he's in, he's the only other character really. If I was to say, oh, who are you latching onto?
Who's the main character in Game of Thrones? You watch season 1. Who's the main character?
Oh, that's easy. Ned Stark.
Season 2. Who's the main character?
I would say not Tywin.
Tyrion.
Tyrion.
Season 3. Who's the main character? I'd say Robb Stark.
Oh yeah, Robb, because
Tyrion didn't die. They just don't focus on him as much.
Yeah, but in the second season he had a lot of focus, and then third switch. So
then season 4, Robb Stark's dead. Who's the main character in season 4 now? I think at that point we may have made it to the point where Daenerys might be the main character. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I was more following than the politics for me. Like that show is was.
Well, no, okay, well you could say when does Tywin die? At the end of season 3 or the end of season 4?
End of season 4, because it's after they do the.
Okay, so season 4, you could say that Tywin's the main character, and then season 5 and 6, you could actually make it to the point where you're mostly following what I would consider the main characters, because you follow Daenerys just about as much as you follow Jon at that point.
Yeah, and they're both pretty much in most of the same scenes anyways.
Right, and they couldn't... No, not in that season. That season was still apart. She's still working her way back.
Oh, okay. It's been a minute. I haven't watched that in a long while.
They don't meet until 6? Or is it the end of... Is it the end of 6 or start of 7?
End of 6, and then start of 7 they bang. That I remember very vividly, because I still argue to this day there was nothing wrong with that. Fuck you, internet. I don't care. I will die on that fucking hill.
It's just a hot ant.
Dude, yeah, I mean, and they didn't know. And even if they did know, they could have just pretended.
Dude, there's entire episodes of Maury that have to do with that specifically. Oops, I didn't know it was my cousin.
I mean,
then you hear the accent, and you're like, "That is a lie. You did know it was your cousin."
But
you Joe Deertate it.
But at the end of the day, I think that this show
this episode, not the show, this episode
is great. But going forward, the show is
going to be shit.
Character. Yeah, like it's like, who are we following? Was the whole point of this long diatribe we went on. Is I think the main problem the show's going to have is
now it's a story about revenge. They should call Sharon Carter.
I can't remember the actress's name.
Oh my god! Like, can you just it's like you're following two people that you hate, and they.
I'm not gonna lie. If you're gonna tell me it's a fucking revenge story, there's literally a TV show called Revenge. You know what fucking happens in that goddamn show?
She gets
revenge.
Oh yeah, I love that show. By the way, it was great.
They're like, here's Chekhov's gun. We're gonna fire every fucking bullet out of it.
But so yeah, everything needs to change. We like this episode. We'll continue doing this, but tomorrow we're gonna cover something we've been excited for: the return of the best Star Wars project. Full stop. From Disney. Yeah, we gotta clarify that. From Disney. Andor.
I don't give them credit for the final season of Clone Wars.
Me neither. That was already written. They just fucking animated it.
Yep.
It was already done for them. They didn't have to do shit. Dave was like, okay, I did the scripts. We just got to animate this shit. Let's call it a day. He's like, I was holding on to these scripts for 7 fucking years. We're doing it. You're like, how long were they holding on
I
to
see
that
that
much?
you guys put me in charge. I can't do his voice, but I know it's high pitch as fuck.
See that you guys put me in charge.
Here's my story. We're gonna animate the shit out of it.
And it's gonna be the best thing, but you guys are gonna give me a higher position.
I would say they animated it as good as they animated Joel's knee getting blown the fuck apart.
Oh, dude. I will say one thing. Okay.
She's
The
pretty
only
gruesome.
thing that the game did better than the episode is I think that the game version to me is more brutal, but the show is more realistic. Like, she doesn't look like a fucking Incredible Hulk, so she's not going to cave somebody's head in with the golf club. I get it. So the stab in the neck is more practical. But, dude, in the game, like, that was fucking icing. Because okay, I'm going to show you my game reaction. I walk in the room, okay? This is the full Zod reaction when I first played the game. I'm walking in, I'm like, oh, yeah, I saved these guys. Oh, cool, yeah. Wait, Tommy, wait, no, Joel, why are you saying your name? Wait, why did everyone look at, what? Did she just get a, oh my God! Okay, oh, okay, all right, we still got Ellie. Ellie's on a horse. She's gonna come in and save us. Wait, Tommy, how'd you get knocked out? You're like 6. Okay, Tommy's a fucking asshole. I can't depend on my brother. Okay, oh good. Switch perspective. I'm like, Ellie, I'm running out of that fucking basement. I'm like, okay, he might be in bad condition, but we could get him to the hospital. A little brain damage, it's all right. We'll have to do a mission to get some fucking equipment to save him. Okay, it's good. Get in there. I'm like, ready to go. Got my gun out. I shoot one fucking shot, and the cutscene comes in, and I gun gets started. I'm like, what? And then she say, get the
Game
fuck
over.
I'm like, so get the fuck, get the fuck, no. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna get up and kill every motherfucker in this room. They hit you in the head, cut to black, and then all of a sudden I see a beautiful sky, and I'm looking and I go, why do I have boobs? Why do I look like I bench pressed small children?
Large children.
I put the controller down. I'm like, and then I go in the room like, bitch, she's gonna care. I'm like, Joel's dead. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Joel's dead. And I'm playing the character. I can't. And to this day, she had no clue what that was about until last night.
That tracks.
And so that's the initial reaction. So anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Check us out. We will have a review of Andor most likely tomorrow because you're going to fucking watch it all so we could do it. That deserves a day one review.
Maybe.
Jesus Christ.
Day one was today.
Okay, day 2. Whatever. We're always late here.
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Check out the review and go back through and check out this live stream. Check out the shot-for-shot comparison. I think it really helps sell why this episode and this is a far superior episode and a much better respectful death for a character that deserved it. Now, I know everybody's in their feelings. I know you love Pedro Pascal, but motherfuckers, you watch Game of Thrones. You should have known. You should have known what was going to happen. Unless he's wearing a helmet, he ain't living. He's 2 steps from being Sean Bean. He literally has contracts where he's got to die. He did live in the
unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yes. So, but any show he's in, just expect to have him killed off. Okay. But other than that, I thought it was a great way to end. I think it's cool that I saw the promo and they're doing the funeral and building up the rivalry. I think that's all good. And hopefully we got 9s and 10s coming. But I have a feeling we're going to have 4, 5s, 2s, and 1s coming. Because if you thought it was fucking stupid now, strap in.
I don't think that this could get 2s or 1s. It's shot too well to be that low.
For me, it will, just for the fucking fact that they adapted it faithfully. Every time it's faithfully
You're a
adapted,
wanker and you knew it.
I'm gonna be the vocal minority that has a fucking brain cell and says this is fucking dumb.
Well, I can say it's dumb. I gave The Last Jedi a 4 because of how good it looks.
Yeah, and even that had things
like
that
it's
kinda
not
made sense.
acted poorly. Like they want the characters to be dumb, and they do a great job being dumb.
That is true. Those
It's
actors.
written for shit. It's written for shit.
So hopefully Craig Mazin comes up with.
He's already fixed some stuff.
He's fixed He's fixed a lot this episode. He fixed this whole entire.
Obviously HBO doesn't. HBO as a company or a production company or whatever, obviously they don't have a problem with adapting major points of a story and changing them, i.e. what do they call her? Lady Stoneheart? There's no Lady Stoneheart in the show.
Yep.
And that's important. Like, she makes some shit happen, and it just don't happen in the show. And you still love the show. So
you can change things and make it work. It's just you got to have a good team. So
the balls to do it.
And the balls. And thank you, Craig Mazin. Please continue changing shit. That's how. Continue changing shit. Change everything. Change it all, Craig. Go fucking nuts. Because obviously you know how to write. Clearly. Because, yeah, it's not even a contest. This was a 9. The game version is a 2. This is a 9. That's a 2. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone.
Neil Druckmann don't know how to write for shit.